the city of Dallas. Mi nombre es Jesse Moreno. Yo soy uno de los concejales para la ciudad de Dallas. Before we get started, I do want to. It's been a rough week in the Latino community. We've lost a couple legends in our community. Trini Garza, who was one of our first school board members, and Bessie Rodriguez, mother of Santos Rodriguez. We can please take a moment of silence. Thank you. A couple big issues that are coming up to Dallas on December 6th, this Wednesday. We will be briefed on the 2024 bond program. That's a $1.1 billion bond package that we're going to put in and invest into the city of Dallas. So we need to know, we need to hear from you where we need to put those priorities. Is it streets? Is it parks? Is it housing? City facilities? So that is next Wednesday. That's one of the biggest issues that we're facing. And then we'll also be looking at lot coverage to make housing more affordable in the city of Dallas. Again, I just want to give you, well, actually, two more events. If anyone's free after this event, over at the Dallas Zoo, we have a District 1, District 2, District 14 day. And we'll have free admission to the Dallas Zoo today from 9 a.m. till noon. So feel free to stop on by. And then next Thursday, December 7th, at the factory in Deep Ellum, we have a 10th annual event for our senior citizens. It's a free event. We'll have WFA anchor Cynthia Zagiri there. We'll have bingo, loteria, mariachis, entertainment from 9 to noon at the factory in Deep Ellum. It's a free event for our seniors. With that, Domingo, thank you so much for the opportunity.
You want to take any questions?
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Councilman Moreno? Ray?
Welcome, Councilman. I just wanted to ask about the status of the street renaming. I wanted to ask about the status of the street renaming that was going on, proposed for Santos Rodriguez. I know that they were targeting Jim Miller Road. Could you give us an update on the status of what's possible there with that?
Sure. For those that don't know, prior to me being on the city council, I had the opportunity to serve on the Dallas Park Board for 8 years, where I championed the renaming of Pike Park Recreation Center to Santos Rodriguez. A couple years after that, I was able to get the city of Dallas to erect a statue in Santos' likeness, and so that is over at Pike Park. Some of my colleagues did present a name proposal change for Jim Miller to be renamed after Santos Rodriguez. I was not aware of that that recommendation. It did go to this plan review committee where unfortunately it did not pass. Since then, I've had an opportunity to meet with the 5 Latino council members, including myself, and we are now working collaboratively to bring this forward. And so it might be at Jim Miller, it might be somewhere closer to Little Mexico. And so you have my commitment, and I know that the other 4 Latino council members are also putting their efforts behind so that we can work with this collaboratively to make it happen.
¿Me puedes repetir la invitación para los seniors, por favor?
Claro que sí, con mucho gusto. Este jueves, diciembre 7, en la factory en Deep Ellum, entre las 9 y las 12 vamos a tener un evento gratis para los senior citizens. Vamos a tener comida, bebida, regalos, mariachi, y va a ser es gratis. Si pueden registrar en mi página jessefordallas.com para ganar más información. Y sí, es el 10 años que vamos a hacer este evento.
Honorable Moreno, one last question. Is the county satellite senior centers invited as well?
Absolutely. It is a District 2 event, but we are all inclusive, and so the county, Dallas, everybody's invited. Thank you, Dr. Garcia.
Gracias. Councilman Jesse Moreno. All right, we're recognizing a couple of elected officials that are here in the audience. Grand Prairie ISD Trustee David Espinosa, con la familia de Guadalajara. We already recognized Councilman Jesse Moreno, and of course, my favorite Dallas County Commissioner, Dr. Elo Garcia. All right, and of course, former National LULAC President, Hector Flores. And as Councilman Moreno mentioned, we lost a couple of people, but one of them was Trini Gatza, who was a LULAC member from the 1960s. So he was one of our longest LULAC members, and he passed away yesterday at 93. He was the first Latino ever appointed and elected to the Dallas School Board back in the 1970s, and was a trailblazer here. And we'd like to really celebrate his life a little bit. We already did the moment of silence. And Ray de los Santos, I think you want to make some comments regarding Trini Garza. Come on up.
Thank you, Domingo. This is Anacleto, come on up. Or any other members of 272. Jesse was, Trini was as I said, over 50-year member. So when he reached the 50-year mark, he was made a lifetime member of LULAC and LULAC Council 272. Basically, we want to commit that we will be offering a scholarship. He was so integral to education. So the council will be offering a scholarship in his memory as well. This year, we will be doing an event in February that will be designed around helping get donations so that we can make that a bigger and better scholarship offering for the entire community to participate in. We have our president, the first Brazilian American president of any LULAC council that I'm aware of, Dr. Maravan. By the way, she's also an appointee of the Biden administration as an ambassador. So I'll let her tell you about that, but she has also a few things she wanted to say.
Yeah, I want to be short. So I'm so honored. I'm so honored to have known Trini. And Trini was a person, he's a legend. And he will still be a legend to many. You know, all of the students that he inspired in Dallas College and throughout his life. Lately, I think the last interview he gave was for one of my students who had a Project Hero here in Dallas. And I'm so happy to have known him. He was never famous enough or big enough not to be reachable. I came all the way from Lubbock, a poor young student, about 25, almost 30 years ago, to meet him here in Dallas. And I waited on a line. I always tell this story. For 30 minutes, all these people talking to him. He was so famous, important at this time. And I was like, wow, I'm going to take a picture with him. Never could I think that later I would move to Dallas, become the president of the LULAC Council that he was a member of. So for me, it was a great honor to be a part of the council, to be beside Trini. And let me tell you something. On the bad days, bad weather days, when people were likely not to come during the pandemic, there was no bad weather, there was no bad day that Trini would be there. He would be the first one there. He would be the first one to sign up for committees. He would be the first one to rise whenever he heard any injustice against one of us. So I think his legend is going to be taken on by members of our council, the students, and everybody who was touched by him. So thank you so much, Trini, for giving us the opportunity to have you enlightening our lives. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Posada. I'm the VP for 272 and District 3 Treasurer as well. I think, like many of us, Trini Garza definitely played a crucial and important role in our lives, not only personally but also as a legend, right? I think for me, I'm in higher ed, so being post-secondary education and the landscape since 2013. Anything and any conversations that I ever had, whether it was board of trustees, whether it was principals, whether it was teachers, whether it was students, Trinity Garza was also front and center of that conversation, just because we know of all the work that they did and the foundation that they laid for us, and for many of us to be in the roles that we are here today. And then, so again, thank you all for joining us this morning. Again, and I know as we get more details, we'll definitely share with everyone. And then, Dr. Eva Garcia just made a commitment to us as well, as we're raising these funds for the scholarship for Trinity Garza. She mentioned that Domingo and Dr. Eva Garcia would match funds that are donated for the scholarship, and so hopefully this gives us an opportunity to raise those funds for our students, right? And as long as they're continuing their education, because we know that it was very important, one of the pillars for Trinity Garza as well. And so with that, I encourage you all to just get connected with 272, get plugged in with us. If there's any questions that you may have or things that we can set up the foundation for the scholarship as well, and connected with students and ensuring that our students are successful after high school, right? I think that's the important aspect of it, having a plan after that. And we'll flip it back to Dr. Vaughn.
And I forgot to give you the funeral information. So if you'd like to attend the memorial service, it's going to be next Friday at the Keys Park, Keys United Methodist Church, and at 12 o'clock. Okay, so at noon. So anybody would like to pay your respects, we will all be there, our LULAC family. Thank you.
And finally, LULAC Council 272 will be coordinating a kind of a LULAC family gathering and opportunity coming up on Wednesday, the 13th. Wednesday the 13th, the details as to where and when are not in Calle 12. So you're welcome to join us at 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 on the 13th for a opportunity for us to get together and share the mic for everyone to talk about their favorite memories of Trinity Garza. I have so many, I'm not going to take up all the time today to share many of those, but please do join us again on the 13th on that evening at 6:30 at Calle 12, and we will be doing a kind of a memorial service for Trinity, I'm sure one of many. So thank you, Domingo, for the opportunity to speak.
All right, thank y'all very much again. There's an obituary on Trinity, that's on the front page of the Metro section of Dallas Morning News, and it's also online. LULAC is sent out, so our condolences of Trinity, but also celebrating all the things he did. Okay, our next speaker grew up in Houston, earned a BA in economics from U of Chicago, has an MA in economics from Duke University. She serves as executive vice president of the United Way worldwide. She's also led and founded the Asian American Foundation in Houston, and she worked for Goldman Sachs, was in the government and the White House Office of Social Innovation and Civic Participation under President Obama, and was a policy director for Pete Buttigieg's presidential campaign. And she also worked in the private sector at Goldman Sachs. And now she is the new CEO of the Texas Tribune, which is basically the Texas newspaper. And she's all the way here from Austin, Texas. Let's give her a big hand, Sanal Shah.
My colleague Nick Garcia up here. First of all, thank you all for having us here. Thank you for LULAC for all the great work you do in the community. It's so important nationally. It's where I know you from, is from the national work, so thank you. My name is Sonal Shah. I am the CEO of the Texas Tribune. How many of you have heard of the Texas Tribune? It is the state, this is awesome. It is the statewide newspaper that reports on what is happening, not only in the Texas legislature, but what's happening with our education work, what's happening in health, what's happening in energy, environment. And Nick also leads our efforts that we do in having reporters across the state. So we have people in Lufkin, we have somebody in Odessa, we have somebody in Midland, we have somebody in Lubbock, we are now soon going to be putting somebody in the Rio Grande Valley. But it's important for us to give you the news about what is happening in the state so you can make the choices for yourself of what you should do and what you need to know. It's free. We provide the information for free. But as we will say, news is not free. We provide the news for free, but the reporting and paying our reporters and making sure that we are giving you accurate, reliable information on a regular basis. We do not do editorials. We do not do op-eds. We do not do endorsements, because we want to make sure we give you trusted news on a regular basis so you can make the decisions that are best and most effective for you. We want to be, and we have become, the largest supplier of news in Texas. And what that means is other newspapers, as they are closing, are just republishing Texas stories. A few years ago, it was only 2.1 million people reading it. Now it's 15 million people reading the news from the Texas Tribune, thanks to the republishing. And nationally, people are coming to the Texas Tribune to find out what's happening about Texas. And that's what we want. We want people to hear about Texas from Texas. We don't want people to come in and fly in for a few days and live here for a couple of years. We want to be reporting about Texas from Texas, and that's our goal. But I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Nick Garcia, who's really doing the yeoman's effort on what's happening across Texas and why it's important. And we'll let him talk a little bit about what he does.
Thank you, Sonal. Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Garcia. I am the Regions Editor of the Texas Tribune and a proud Dallas resident. They could not pay me enough to live in Austin, with all due respect to Austin. When they brought me back to Texas, I got to pick wherever I wanted to live, and I wanted to come back to be here with all of you. This has become my home. So, as I said, and as Sonal said, I am the Regions Editor, so I get to work with reporters across the state. We have reporters in East Texas, West Texas, very soon South Texas, because we know what happens in all of these regions matter to people here in Dallas, and what happens in Dallas matters to all of the people in those regions. And our job is to help connect the dots about how poor water infrastructure in Lufkin, impacts Dallas water up here, and how drilling and energy production in Odessa and Midland, impact what happens in ERCOT and what happens with Encore, and how we keep the lights on in Texas, as well as pollution and healthcare and so many, many, many issues. Next year is going to be an election year, so we're very fascinated about how the electorate in Texas continues to change, or not, depending upon who you ask. We're going to be focusing a lot on races up and down the ballot, from the presidential to state house representatives, and even some city council races. I'm sure, as we know, local races and what happens in local politics matters. Just look at school board fights and city council fights across the state. And of course, what we are really focused on is what sort of democracy you all want. I always say I'd rather talk to 10 voters than 100 politicians any day. So we're always fascinated to hear what's on your mind and what you want from your government. That's what we're here for. So again, I am Nick Garcia. I'm here in Dallas. We'd love to chat with as many of you as possible today. You can find my information online at texastribune.org. And as Sonal said, news is not free. I'm very expensive. I like Starbucks. So any donations you can give are greatly accepted, because we want to keep making sure that we have an informed Texas, because there are people who do not want you to be informed. And we have to make sure that we are making sure not only that you all know what they're doing, but we need to make sure they know what you want. And that is my #1 job. So please feel free to reach out to any of us at the Texas Tribune. There are actually 4 Texas Tribune journalists in the DFW area. We have 2 in Dallas, 2 in Fort Worth. We actually have more reporters working across the state now than ever before, so we're very excited about what the future holds. And yeah, I will stop talking now. So thank you all very much, and enjoy your breakfast.
Anybody have any questions? Pregunta, over here in the back.
Okay. So I want to say that the most effective information I get from Texas Tribune is off that Twitter, formerly known as. But I tell you this only because whenever I'm looking for news, Texas Tribune off of Twitter, X, it doesn't matter. It's the quickest. I'll see something pop up just a few minutes ago. but it's most recent news I see so far. So I'm telling you, all of you, if you're not on Twitter, follow Ms. Shaw, follow Texas Tribune, follow Mr. Garcia, and by the way, what's your Twitter feed?
It's very simple. It's Nick Garcia. Nick is spelled without a K, so Nicgarcia. And I will also say we're also on a lot of other platforms, including Instagram and Threads and Facebook. You can also, the best way, and I appreciate you suggesting Twitter, but honestly the best way to get the information from the Texas Tribune are our newsletters. So we have many different newsletters, including a daily brief that's like our front page that you can get straight to your inbox. Also, my team recently launched a new weekly newsletter that features news from across the state, focused on people doing really exceptional things. And we like to say we like to surprise everybody on Thursday with what's happening from across the state. And those are really great ways. And you can go to texastribune.org/subscribe or / whatever it is. But go to Texas Tribune, you'll find our newsletter page and sign up there.
Question. Is it available in Spanish too? I'm just curious.
So we have occasionally published information in Spanish, including most recently in 2022, we did a voter guide in Spanish that was very well read. We do have a group of reporters and Spanish speakers, both native and those who have learned over the years, thinking about how to best engage with the Spanish-speaking audience. I will say news organizations from the New York Times on down have not yet cracked the code for predominantly English-speaking news organizations making that leap into Spanish, but we know it's vitally important because what we know is that there are people out there who are not good actors trying to spread misinformation through channels that are for native Spanish speakers. So we're aware of the problem and we're thinking about it, but we have not cracked the code yet. If you have an idea, we can definitely chat and get you connected with the folks who are in our newsroom thinking about this.
Follow up, which was Joe asked me, are you on TikTok?
We are not yet on TikTok, but we are thinking about it. One of the things, and just to add to Nick's comment about Spanish, the challenge is not everybody that's Spanish speaking will come to our site. So what we need to figure out is how do we partner effectively that where people go to get their news, we're giving them the information that they need in an appropriate manner. So sometimes it's not always through us that they're going to get it. It's going to be through you, LULAC, other places. And we need to figure out how to do that better. So that's our goal this year. If you have ideas, please let us know.
You have one question over there.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ruth Torres, and I am running for U.S. Congress, District 5. And when I win, I will be the first woman and the first Latina, the first person of color to ever represent the area in history. So my question is, are you going to be doing anything to help candidates to have debates? Right? So I know this guy is not going to want to debate me. I believe I'm going to be the only one on the Democrat ballot. I know the incumbent, he's a MAGA guy, he's not going to want to debate me, but that's what I need. I need nonpartisan groups that will come together and have a big enough event with a big enough draw that he would be foolish not to engage, and if he doesn't, then I'll debate an empty chair. But is that something, because there's so much misinformation and people think it's too much, and everybody, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard for folks to get through the minutia. So would there be, is that a consideration to host a debate like that? Thank you.
It's a great question. It's not something we have done as the Texas Tribune because we are largely a written newspaper. The debates have largely happened through the TV and radio stations, and so it's something that we should talk about and we'll have a conversation about, but honestly we have not thought about it, so thank you for the recommendation. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Oh, is there one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you for the coverage on this before. It's really important for our community. And I was asked if there's going to be more coverage as people continue to ask and they're confused whether it's signed, it's not signed. Do you have a potential date that you've talked to the governor's office? Thank you.
So you'll have to forgive me, I'm not an expert on this before, but what I can promise you is we'll have comprehensive coverage, as we always do on all things. You know, I will say, as you know, with special sessions, the rules sometimes get a little squishy. and it's hard to follow. But I would say just keep an eye out on TexasTribune.org. I know our legislative reporters, our immigration reporter, Ariel Garcia, works harder than almost anybody out there, so we'll have coverage.
We will follow the coverage the full way through until the session ends. And then also keep following us for the elections next year, because that's going to be the next piece. We just want to make sure you all have accurate information about what's happening in the state.
So when you're presenting a special session coming
Again. All right, thank y'all. Let's get a big end. This is Sean. By the way, I do want to compliment the articles on the immigrant crisis on the border and giving, I'm going to call it just the facts, is really welcome by a lot of us. All right, our next speaker is the youngest of 10 from a family of farm workers. She graduated with a bachelor's in business administration from Southern Nazarene University. She later worked as a federal agent. She completed her master's in criminology, but she's best known as the first Latina sheriff in the United States when she was elected in 2004. And also becoming one of the first LGBT sheriffs elected. She worked for many years as the Dallas County Sheriff, and she is now running for election to her role post. Let's give a big hand to former Sheriff Lupe Valdez.
Muchas gracias. You know, I was walking down Jefferson one day on one of these Latino holidays. It was either Cinco de Mayo, 17 de Septiembre, or Dia de los Muertos. I don't know what it was, but it was a Latino holiday. And as I looked in front of me, there was a bunch of motorcycles, and it was during the summer. So there was a bunch of big guys with sleeveless vests and a lot of tattoos on their arms. And as I'm walking toward them, I'm thinking, okay, I can know anything, I can deal with anything, so I'm gonna walk right straight through them. And as I'm getting close, somebody yells, Sheriff Valdez, how are you? So then I walk over there and we start talking. Pretty soon they're making me tacos and giving me water and all this stuff. And we had a good time. And as I started to leave, one of them says, we sure are grateful for everything you did for the Latinos. And I'm going, okay, thank you. And I'm walking away and I'm going, what did I do for the Latinos? You know, and that seemed, and to the next couple of years, that message seemed to come a lot. And it was always from men. In 2005, when I took over the sheriff's department, it was known as a department who would beat up minorities. It was known as a department who was filthy. It was known as a department that had no humanity ideas toward the public. So I had my hands full. And in about 6 or 7 years, with the thanks of the commissioners, with the help of the commissioners, Parkland, maintenance, and many others, notice I will never say I. It is always we. We did a lot of this stuff. So we cleaned up the place. And I had about maybe 20 programs for inmates to help them get back into a useful career. One day I was walking down the street downtown in full uniform, and somebody, of course, yells, Sheriff Valdez. So I turn around and this guy says, you saved my life. And that was another common phrase that I heard a lot. And I said, please tell me. And he says, I went into jail, you put me in a GED class, and then you put me in a machinist class. And now I've worked as a machinist and I own my own business. So I was really excited about that. We're making a difference. But you know what? I didn't put the guy in a GED class. I didn't put him in a machinist class. But even the inmates know that it makes a difference who's at the top. They know that the reaction of the officers, the reaction of the department has a lot to do with who's on top. Several years ago, a Latino officer deputy committed suicide. And they were looking for him. They knew he was in trouble and they were looking for him. And they went to the current sheriff and they said, we gotta find him. And she said, do your job, don't be looking for somebody. And several of the Latino officers said, we don't care what she says, we're gonna go look for her. They found her, committed suicide on sheriff's property. And then, because it was a suicide, the current sheriff decided that they would not give them law enforcement honors. Of course, the Latino Peace Officers Association went crazy. What do you mean you won't give him honors? He did. He served for over 15 years, but he committed suicide. Do you know the message that that sends to other people, to other law enforcement that are having problems? Do you know the message that that sends? If you commit suicide, you're not worthy. Let's work at not committing suicide and make you worthy, not just after it happens, but before. Then, after that, she got real angry with the Latino Peace Officers Association because they went on the media and they said, this isn't just. He should receive honors. So for a while, she was very unjust about hiring Latinos. And it became so obvious that, I won't mention any names, but Domingo's favorite commissioner would not even sign the certification for the new employees. I declared to run in the summer. All of a sudden, after the summer, we're hiring Latinos. You know, people who do something just for re-election are gonna go back to what they were doing before.
Amen.
So, what I'm saying to you is, experience matters. Success matters. How you treat your employees matters. By the way, there's a 16-hour mandatory overtime. Over 30 officers have come to me and said, this is cruel. And you know what? All but 2 were African Americans. I helped get her there, and some people continually remind me that I helped get her there. Because I thought she would help the minorities. And it turns out the opposite. Most of the minorities are coming to me and saying, we need to get the department back to what it used to be. Actually, Thursday, I ran into one of the officers and she said to me, if you don't get elected, there's at least 10 of us that are quitting that I know of. It makes a difference how you treat your employees. They're the most valuable asset that we have. We should be able to treat them decently as employees. Yes, they have a hard job. Yes, there's things to do. Yes, there is policy. Yes, there is things we have to do extra. But we don't have to treat them as our subordinates. We treat them as employees and human beings. By the way, when I started saying that the 16-hour mandatory thing was cruel, she started asking for volunteers. And then she says, well, if they don't volunteer, we have to force them. To this day, she hasn't gotten enough volunteers. Who wants to work a 16-hour shift? People don't want to work that hard. Yes, they want to make more money, but they have families. We have to care about not only the employee, but their families. I can't remember, 2008, when we had that dip in taxes, they asked me to take $10 million from my budget. And so I went to my staff and I said, we are not laying off a single human being if at all possible. If we lay off one person, that lays off their children, their family, the neighbors, that lays off quite a few people. We have to care about that human being, so we can't lay them off. You know what? I had such a good staff that they did everything but lay off a human being, including no sugar for your coffee. But they did not lay off a single human being. You have to show them that they care. These 30 officers that have come to me, I tried to figure out what the issue was. When they first started coming, right after about a year or so, when they first started coming, I said, it's just new management, you have to get used to it. You know, and they kept coming, And then I finally started quizzing them, and they couldn't come up with something good enough. But I figured out the issue was, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about us. And one of them said to me, if we were retiring and we had 10 years, you would show up at our retirement at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I would. tired, exhausted, and I have to go to work the next day. And as I walk in, I would say to myself, she gave me 10 years, I can give her 2 hours. There's been several people who retired after 40 years and had a retirement during the day. She did not even come over and say, thank you very much, go outside. And what keeps coming up is she doesn't care enough to make a difference. You know, the motorcycle guys, the guy on the street, I had one of my officers, one of my chiefs, come in between 5:30 and 6:30 in the morning because things happen overnight and they should be there to hear about it. So every morning, one of my chiefs would come in real early. He went over to 7-Eleven over here in Colorado to get his coffee before he went in. And there was a homeless man over on the side. And of course, the gentleman was wearing his uniform. And the guy yells, hey, you work for Sheriff Lupe? And he goes, yes, I work for Sheriff Lupe. And he says, tell her I said hi. So at lunch, I got the ribbing of a lifetime. You know, all the other chiefs are going, man, the homeless are sending you greetings. But what I want to end with is the Latinos on the street knew that who is in office makes a difference. It makes a difference in their community, in their life, in their being. The homeless guy knew that who was in charge made a difference. You know, I've never been called Sheriff Lupe by a homeless, but they've done it. I was an oak lawn at the stoplight, and a homeless guy goes, hi, Sheriff Lupe. You know, I'm going, hello. The reason for that was I changed the policy. You can't beat up people anymore. You can't abuse people anymore. And you can at least try to treat them humanely. You know, I'm not going to say that your heart is going to change because it's not. We have good old boys that are never going to change. But they have to follow the rules. And the rules are, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So what I'm saying is, it makes a difference who's on top. My name is Lupe Valdez, and I need your support to get back in there and make a difference. Thank you very much.
Lupe, thank you for coming back on the trail. And I also want to just thank you when we were first working to make sure that we had Spanish language translations in all the signs that were for people who go into that jail. They're under a lot of trauma and they often need to see something familiar that they can give them ideas as to what they need to do. Thank you for allowing us to help you make that change. My question to you is, when is the upcoming primary? What types of things can individuals like myself do, besides putting up a sign on my yard in Duncanville? What can we do?
Thank you very much. The primary is, I think I saw a flyer just a little while ago. It starts the end of February, is early voting, and the first Tuesday of March is a Super Tuesday across the U.S. Super Tuesday is election for us. Now, we're going to start our block walking next Saturday. Jay, can you wave your hand? Jay and Kathy, who's wearing my shirt, those two folks will take your name, your phone number, or whatever you need. We're starting block walking next Saturday. We're going to be knocking on doors. And thanks to several folks, we are going to emphasize Latino votes. We're going after Latino votes. So the two highest Latino voters are this district and Jessica's district. So we're going to hit these two first, and then we're going to go on to others. But we're emphasizing Latino voters. Of course, we want everybody's vote. But we have a habit, nuestra raza has a habit of not turning out for elections very well. You know how different this state could be if we came out and voted? So my campaign is going to emphasize some of that. We're going after some of that. So next Saturday is our first block walk. Please give your information to them. And of course, we're going to continue the block walks. We're gonna list them on our website. It's real difficult, lupevaldez.com, you know? I mean, you just know my name and you got it. So I need all your help. Nobody does it alone.
Mi nombre es Gloria Cervantes. Ustedes saben y me conocen todo. Yo tengo 53 años en la política. Puedo decir quién es quién en política. No es, como dice, hacer barba, pero yo tengo desde que el señor Domingo, la señora Edna empezaron, jamás han cambiado. Usted, señora, el día que usted se le puso de candidata, de gobernadora, nunca nos visitó. Y eso, te voy a decir, y a todos los hispanos, que ustedes no cambian, así como nos hablan, nos prometen, cumplan, porque nosotros los mexicanos somos muy vengativos, no hablamos, no lo ofendemos, pero no acudimos a las urnas. Así es que yo les pido a todos ustedes, que así como Domingo y Edna se los encuentra, donde usted se los encuentra, ellos jamás le niegan el saludo. En cambio, yo he visto a muchas personas que vienen, nos hablan así como usted, se encuentran y ni las conocen. Se las pueden llevar de encuentro, pero no nos saludan. No, señora. Si ustedes, no precisamente que nosotros las mantengamos, pero ustedes sin el voto de nosotros no son nadie.
To translate that, she's, I don't know if accusing me or giving me wisdom or giving me information that we don't contact them enough, that we don't deal with them enough. And especially, she mentioned during my governor's race. Let me tell you, we visited 4 towns a day during my governor's race. We started at 6 o'clock in the morning in Amarillo and ended up at 9 o'clock at night in Brownsville. And this happened for 4 months. I honestly don't think I had another ounce of strength in me when we finished at 9 o'clock at night. And then the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, we're at breakfast again. Texas is huge. And I'm still being accused of not stopping at certain areas. I would have loved to. I would have loved to have offices in all areas. And I will tell you that I got the same amount of votes as Bedlam. He did it for 67 million. I did it for 2 million, and I got the same percentage of votes as Bedlam. I worked just as hard as he did. Unfortunately, even in Dallas, we cannot touch every single human being. There's no way. There's not. She mentioned she was 50-something. I'm 76 and proud of her. I can outwalk and outdo. I have 4 functions today. After I finish this, there's 3 more. And I can keep going with everything there is in me. But even then, I will not be able to touch everybody. That is why I'm asking you to help me. You're the ones that can help me reach the people that I cannot reach.
Hi, my name is Julie Alonso Rivera, and I'm with the Texas Organizing Project. So I have a few questions for you.
Sure.
So just yesterday, I heard from someone that is presently in the Dallas County Jail. And what happened with another person that witnessed this is this gentleman that has seizures, that couldn't move fast enough, that wasn't being given his medication. They made him move because he was talking back to one of the guards. So because he was talking back, they attacked him, threw him on the ground, handcuffed him, and moved him out of the cell he was in. That's inhumane. And there has been a lot of inhumane activity in our Dallas County jails. Let me give you another example. How many failed inspections has the Dallas County jail had? Several, right? I also know by someone that was in the Dallas County jail, there was a trustee and worked in the kitchen. It was horrible. There's rats everywhere. The food was spoiled and rotten, and they were being fed that. So can you imagine a loved one that doesn't have any family support or anyone to put money on their books for commissary, they have to eat that because that's all they have. So there's got to be some change, like you said. We talked about suicide, right? One of the officers or someone that committed suicide. How many loved ones commit suicide in there? How many loved ones overdose? Because we know that happens, but we're not told that. How do they get that in the jails? They don't have contact visits. So how does it get in there? That's my question, right? So
I think we're pressured on time. I think we're pressured on time. I get your
my last
message.
question is jail-based voting. We were at the jail when the loved ones were allowed to vote. There were no signs. There wasn't anything on the walls. And out of almost 6,000 loved ones, 6 people voted because they went to wake them up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, vote, you have pretty much most of the day, right? Maybe until 2 o'clock. That didn't happen. So how do we expect, and that's important, is voting, right? But that has to change. We have to make some changes, and I hope, honestly, that you are willing to make those changes because they are definitely almost at capacity.
Okay, let me address several of those. That was the way it was when I took it over in 2005. When I left, we passed jail inspections, and that means keeping the place clean. 10 months after I left, they failed. 10 months after I left, they failed. Again, it goes back to you even care. Yes, there's going to be suicides in jail, but you have to do your best to limit them. And I can tell you, there's been several suicides right now that you haven't heard about. The officers, I was going to reach for my phone, the officers almost text me immediately. Guess what happened now? And nobody's going to hear about it. No. And they tell me stuff like that. They tell me about stuff that's going on. You know why? Because they care. The officers care, but they're not going to do any more than they're required to do. And if you've got them working 16-hour days, they're not going to care very much at all. And I tell you time and time again, it's not about them caring, because it's hard to change hearts, but it is about them obeying the policies that you put in and being verified. One of my slogans, I have a lot of them, delegate but verify. There's 3,000 employees. Do you think I'm going to be able to take care of everything we'll see in there? No. But when you delegate it to somebody, you need to verify that it's being done. That is not happening. And the officers are texting me and complaining. They're not going to do any more than they have to, but they're also ashamed of what's going on. They don't want to be accused of stuff like this. So it's going to take me a minute. The first time it took me 5 years to get that place to a very respectable place. It's going to take me a minute, but you can bet that I will work 7 days a week. So you're not going to see me. You're not going to see me at other places because I'm going to be there working.
Thank you, Rick. All right, our next speaker is born in Vietnam and immigrated to the United States as a child, graduated from Dallas schools. She then went on to the University of Southern California, where she got her degree. She became a licensed attorney in 1997 and is now a mom with 3 daughters, Collin County resident, and she is running for the 5th District Court of Appeals. Let's give a big hand to Teresa Cravey. Teresa.
Buenos dias. Good morning. My name is Teresa Bowie Creevy. I actually had the pleasure to work for Domingo many years ago as a contract lawyer. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am an immigrant. And like most of you, like your families, we all came from somewhere. We had to start over. My family came over here for a better life. We all want a better life. For me, that means helping others because they helped me. They help my family. So I'm always here to help everyone in the community. As a 26-year trial lawyer, I practice in pretty much every area of the law. I have my own law firm, not as big as Domingo, but my own law firm. We do family law, criminal law, personal injury, probate, immigration, real estate, business law, just everything. For the Court of Appeals, this is the Court of Appeals that governs cases coming out of Dallas County, Collin County, Rockwall County, Kaufman County, Grayson County, and Hunt County. So if you live in those 6 counties, those are the voters for the 5th District Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals is very important, and the reason is because it hears every area of law. So you want a lawyer on the court that knows pretty much every area of law. So let me ask you, if you have a criminal lawyer, right, and who is running, who is going to be on the Court of Appeals, but you have a family law case, do you think the criminal lawyer is going to know family law? Maybe, maybe not. You would rather have a criminal lawyer hearing your case, right? That's like, hey, I have a family lawyer, am I going to go hire a criminal lawyer? Probably not. I'm going to hire a family lawyer. Or I'm going to hire someone that does a little bit of everything, because if those are my choices, I'm going to go pick someone who does everything. So it's very important for the public, for the community to know that you want someone who has more experience among multiple areas of law, because they hear everything. And the reason why this is important is because when a judge makes a mistake, and Domingo will tell you, judges do make mistakes. When they make mistakes, it goes to the Court of Appeals. And if the Court of Appeals makes a mistake, your next option is to go to the Supreme Court of Texas. The problem is the Texas Supreme Court can say, we don't want to hear your case. We don't have to hear your case. And so whatever the Court of Appeals decides, your case is over. And if the judge made a mistake, your only other option is to go to the Texas legislature to change the law. And that is almost impossible for your one case. So I think it's very important to make sure that you elect someone who has broad-based experience among multiple areas of law. And the reason why I'm running is because of that. I vote for judges, I vote for lawyers every day based on their experience. But everyday voters don't know that. It's very hard for you to find that out. And so that's why I'm trying to come here to inform the community why it's so important to vote for the right person. Because as Democrats, we want to elect Democrats, we want to support Democrats, but we want to elect and support the right Democrat. This coming election, the March primaries, my race will be contested. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm running against a person, so the court justice, his name is Bill Peterson, Justice Bill Peterson. He is stepping down, so there is no incumbent. So it's me and one other person, another Asian lawyer. This is a lawyer you're actually going to know because she's a sitting criminal district judge in Dallas. You have voted for her. But I'm going to tell you, here's the reason why you should support me and vote for me. I have more experience. I have more broad-based experience. Again, multiple areas of law. She does criminal law. So again, if you have a case that's going up on appeal and it's a family law case, do you think, the other person will know the law? Can they learn enough of the law to make the right decision? Number 2, if you support my campaign and vote for me, you will get a Democrat to the Court of Appeals. You will keep a Democrat in office in Dallas County as your district judge, your criminal district judge. If you support my opponent, she goes to the Court of Appeals. Her seat opens up for Governor Abbott to appoint a Republican for the next 2 years because her seat is not up for re-election. It is up for re-election in 2026. So that means that by supporting her, by voting for her, you are supporting a Republican. And I'm asking you today, as Democrats, as minorities, are you trying to put a Republican in office? I hope the answer's no.
No.
I hope the answer's no. Number three, again, she's a criminal district judge. You need her to stay in her seat because we are incurring SB4. And you know that is very important to the minority community. It's very important to Latinos, Mexican Americans, Asians, Blacks. Very important. The criminal district court in Dallas right now, here's about 70% of the people going through are minorities. What happens to these minorities? What happens to us and our families if a Republican judge sits in that court because she goes up to the Court of Appeals? So I'm not saying that she's not a good judge, not at all. I'm saying that I just think I have better experience, better broad-based experience for the Court of Appeals because you want someone with more experience among multiple areas of law. But number two, do you want a Republican? Do you want Governor Abbott to appoint? You don't even get to elect. You get an appointment by Governor Abbott to appoint a Republican to our criminal district court in Dallas. And so those are the two big reasons I'm running. Again, I think at the end of the day, I have supported her in the past. I have voted for her in the past, but not this time. Because this time, as a lawyer, I represent everyday people like you and families. And, they come to me and ask me, what is the law on manslaughter? What is the law on assault? Can you help me? What will the judge do? What will a jury do? I look at the law and I tell them, here's the law, and here's what I expect the judge to do. But when judges don't know the law, that's when they mess it up. And so that's why I'm running, because I see it more often than not. It's happening more because, do you know that what it takes to run for judge? It used to be, in 2020, 4 years of legal experience. That's it. And you can run for judge. You could literally be an immigration lawyer and run for district court and not know anything about personal injury, family law. You just have to be a lawyer for 4 years. In 2022, the law did change, and Republicans changed this to 10 years. So that's a little bit better. But there's still no requirement to say, hey, if you are going to be a family law judge, you need to practice family law. If you're going to be a criminal law judge, you need to practice criminal law. If you need to be a Court of Appeals judge, you need to practice at least 2 or 3 different areas of law. There's no requirement. So people don't understand, they go in, they vote Democrat, Republican, they vote, oh, I like this name. But today, I think for the community, it's very important to vote for someone with the right experience because it's going to affect you in multiple ways. Number one, for your case, for your family's case, for your friend's case. But number two, do we want to help Republicans get into office? So I hope you will support my campaign. I hope that you will tell your friends and family to vote for me. Again, my name is Chorizo Menudo. My website is chorizoforjustice.com, and I'm going to tell you, don't even worry about my last name. It's kind of hard. Just remember Teresa. My daughter's friends call me because they come over and they're like, Mother Teresa. And I said, okay. So anything that you can remember to get to Teresa, Mother Teresa, Teresa for the Court of Appeals. I hope that you will support my campaign. Thank you so much.
Teresa, could you describe the district or the area that you're running in? Is it countywide, statewide?
Yes, yes.
I think everybody heard the question.
Yes, so the 5th District Court of Appeals governs cases and it's countywide. All of Dallas County, all of Collin County, all of Kaufman County, all of Rockwall County, all of Grayson County, and all of Hunt. So basically from the southern border of Dallas all the way up to the northern, to the Red River, to Oklahoma, right, the border. So Dallas County, Collin County, Grayson County, and then you go east, Rockwall, Kaufman, and Hunt. So everyone in these counties, your cases are affected because it's coming out of those counties. And if you live in those counties, you are the voters for this court. And so, like I said, the opponent, the incumbent, Justice Bill Peterson, he's not stepping, he's stepping down. So, and there's a reason for that, and if you want to ask some people, I'm sure they'll tell you. But number two, for me, it's very important, because Dallas is going to be crucial. Dallas is the largest voting block for the 5th District Court of Appeals. And so, let me tell you, here's an example. So in Collin County, it covers Collin County. Republicans run every time, because in 2018, prior to 2018, it was a full Republican court for many, many, many years. Democrats finally came in 2018 and picked up 8 seats. In 2020, they picked up another 3 seats. In 2022, they picked up another 2 seats. So right now, there's 13 justices on the Court of Appeals. One of our justices stepped down. That was Justice Leslie Osborne. She stepped down because she had to take care of her ill mother. And that caused Abbott to appoint a Republican to that seat. So now we have 12 Democrats and 1 Republican. Okay, so so definitely I understand why she stepped down. It's that she has to take care of her mom. It's a wonderful thing. But we've got a Republican on this court. And so right now there's a lot of people shifting seats. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be another Republican to that court because there's seat shifting. But like I said, for me, it's about the law, it's about the community. And one of the things that I do for the community is, and I know Domingo does this too, I give out free legal advice because I want to help people. Sometimes we don't have money to hire a lawyer to ask a question. Call me and I will help you. Whether it's 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, if you call me over the phone, I have time, I will help you because that's how I give back to the community.
Hello, my name is Connie Kaibin. I'm from Garland, Texas. I have a question for you. I listened to all of your rhetoric about, you're an attorney, you've done this time of law, this type of law. How involved are you in the community of where you live? A lot of the times it's important for a candidate to be involved within the community to help us when we're trying to help you get a seat in office. So what have you done within your community and the community surrounding you that we can, when people ask, what do you know about Teresa? Well, I know that she does this and this and this and this in her community. Not just that you're an attorney, but that you're also working within your community.
So again, I grew up in Dallas. So from the time we immigrated to Dallas from Vietnam, I grew up here in Dallas from 1975 until I got married in 1998. So for over 25 years, I lived in Dallas. I grew up in Dallas. I went to Alex W. Spence, and I lived in this community. For me, I've always been active, but that was prior to me being a lawyer, right? And so, I wasn't politically active as a teenager or in college. But when I got married, I moved to Richardson. And so this is the Collin County side. So I live in Richardson, but it's on the Collin County side. So you say, Teresa, you're here. Why are you here? Why are you asking for our support? It's not because I don't want to be here. I didn't know. I wasn't involved in the political process. I would, now that I know that the LULAC exists, as you know, I've been here. I plan to come here every time I have the ability to when my schedule doesn't conflict. But I am out trying to help every community, whether it's a Hispanic community, the Asian community, the Indian community, because we are all minorities. And so we continue to be, down here. And so for me, I think we all need to work together. And so I support every person. Every person has rights. Every person should know their rights. everyone, and so I'm very passionate about the law. And so when you come and ask me, I'm going to tell you the law. And I think we all have rights. We have our due process rights, and they are being trampled on by judges who don't know the law or don't want to follow the law. And my clients today, they complain, why is this judge not doing the right thing? And the only answer I have is, I don't really know because I'm not them. All I can tell you is, I believe they're not following the law, and the only thing I can say is file an appeal or do something about it by running. So, again, I believe in helping the community. If you need my help, I will be here. I will be here to help you.
Hello, my name is Louis. I'll make this real quick. My name is Louis Espinosa. I'm David's older brother. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody for the invitation and all of you who run for office and represent the Democratic Party. It's inspiring to be here. I see David, the work he puts in to get elected, what the process, and I really admired it. And we helped him. Me and my wife, we started a business, and we have tortas semanas, and we support my brother in all his endeavors. But my question was to Lupe, I would like to give him those shirts. And I know that you have made a difference because I grew up here in Oak Cliff. I went to Sunset in 1990. I worked across the street here at Jerry's as a sacker, and I used to drive my car to work when I got my permit, of course. And I got pulled over one time because I was listening to La Mafia too loud, and it was noise pollution is what they said. And I roam around, I hear all these cars ramming their music loud, and I'm like, I don't know what right y'all have now that, you know, has changed in the time because of people that were elected and have made a difference. So thank you for your service and all that. And I know one day Texas will be blue because I never thought the Rangers would win the World Series, and it happened.
Miracles do happen a lot. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. All right, our last speaker nació en el Puerto México. Se emigraron a Springdale, Arkansas en 1996. Es primera generación inmigrante. He earned his BA in Spanish and Latin American Studies and his master's from the University of Arkansas. After he graduated with his master's, he moved from Arkansas to Arlington, and he started working for State Representative Terry Mesa in House District 105, and he is now a professor at the Center for Mexican American Studies at UTA. Let's give a big hand to Jose Ayala Rodriguez, professor.
Hola, buenos días. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ask for David Reynoso to please join me. So he is the one that accompanied me from the University of Texas Arlington. So he's a student, and he's going to share a little bit of the experience that he has there with the Center for Mexican American Studies and the organizations he's with. He is, if I'm mistaken, he is from Oak Cliff. So this means a lot. The reason why I'm here is very brief. It's just sharing the information that we exist at the Center for Mexican American Studies there at UT Arlington. There has been a change recently with the administration there. So there's a new president, Dr. Kelly, there at UT Arlington, and there has some changes, right? So me coming in just at the beginning of this year and reviving the Center for Mexican American Studies organization to be out there for students. Something I heard several times from students is that when they were coming to graduate, they were about to graduate, and they said, "Oh, there was a Center for Mexican American Studies." One of the reasons why that was a concern is because where we're located. We're located on campus. When it was first founded in 1990, okay, so let me begin first off in 1993, where CMOS was created first by state law. It was passed in legislation in 1993. And by the way, we celebrated our 30th anniversary yesterday. So we're very proud of having the community presence. But what we're doing is really recognizing the history, knowing the history about the Center for Mexican American Studies. So where we're located, we're in the center on campus at the University Hall, and now they moved us away from the center of campus. Now we're on the outside, and it's also along with other organizations such as CAST, Center for African American Studies as well. So we just wanted to, the reason why I'm here is just to share this information to you all. What we're doing is making some changes. We're wanting to work with and work with communities outside of the university as well. So we're empowering students, informing them about a variety of educational opportunities that are outside. So I really appreciate hearing some of the comments that David will mention, and also lastly, it's to say that we're here to support. I have a few flyers and information just so you all can be in contact with us. We have students from all over DFW. Again, lastly, just to say is that UT Arlington itself is considered to be the largest population of students. We are, I think at times we actually surpass the students at UT Austin, if I'm not mistaken. And what we're knowing is that, lastly, just to add on, is to say that UTA is a Hispanic serving institution. And we're wanting to embrace that a lot. We're wanting the students to know with the service that we provide for the Center for Mexican American Studies are regarding, again, with Mexican American Studies, with Latino issues and concerns. So that's some of the reasons and things that we exist and why I'm here. So if you do have any questions later on, I am here to assist you all.
Hello, my name is David Reynoso. I'm a fourth-year PhD student studying aerospace engineering at the University of Texas at Arlington. Currently, I'm part of the CMAS Advisory Council at Consejo. I'm the founder of the Latino Graduate Student Association at UTA. I'm a regional graduate representative for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I'm also a member of a lot of student organizations such as the Association of Mexican American Students, the Society of Advancement for Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science, and that's just a few of them. But as Dr. Jose Ayala here was saying, is that UTA is HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution, but for the longest, it hasn't felt like it's been serving Hispanics. You know, we want it to be not just HSI in terms of serving Hispanics, we want UTA to be a Hispanic thriving institution. And CMAS is the way we try to do that. So thank you for being here. As I mentioned, I'm a proud Oak Cliff native, born and raised. And there's a lot of us at UTA, so don't forget about us.
Okay, any questions? Anybody want to go to ETA? You got a question on it?
Well, it was... Good morning. It was more of a comment than a question. We do have a LULAC council at UTA, and a lot of the students are from Oak Cliff, so if you don't mind, I would love to contact you with the president and the executive board. Oh, and my name is Elida Martinez. I'm the Texas State Deputy Director for Young Adults, so I oversee the collegiate councils here in Texas. So I'd love to get you in contact with them so y'all can work together.
Share that information.
All right.
Well, good morning and thank you. I thought that having the representatives of CMAS here is long overdue again. My question to you is that Dallas ISD, probably other independent school districts, are engaged right now in creating a textbook for Mexican American Studies for the classes that they're doing. Is the CMAS Center, has the CMAS Center been invited, or are you part of that mix? I'm joining it myself in next week, but have you been part of that, or are you working on helping create the story that is being taught about us in the future?
That's a great question. Thank you so much. So, based on the information for that, no, we're not aware of that. I don't know if on my behalf, maybe with Dr. Lina, who is a new director too, if he's been informed about this, but that's something for us definitely to have on the radar. Something else is just to say that new director, we have new staff, and we're doing our best to branch out. So this is another reason why we're here. But yes, we would love to be in connection with you for that. For definitely, yes.
All right, thank you all very much. Gracias. All right, that was the last of our speakers. We now open for community announcements. Aviso de la comunidad, señora Cervantes.